Hello everyone, how's your week? Welcome back to Pacific Front channel. Before you say anything, yes, I know, it's September already. But because there was a more important topic that I should discuss with you last week, I couldn't give you any updates on what happened in the Indo-Pacific region for the month of August. And I want to keep my promise to always make this kind of content every month. So I will do it today. I won't include KRI Golok for today's video again. If you haven't watched it, you can click the video card on the top right corner. Anyway, without further ado, let's check out what happened in the Indo-Pacific region in August 2021. Let's start with naval procurement news. Just as I previously posted on my community post few days ago, Private Shipbuilder PT Daya Radar Utama or DRU has carried out a first steel cutting ceremony of 2 OPVs for the Indonesian Navy. The 2 vessels, designated as OPV and 90-meter OPV, are meant to strengthen the Indonesian naval power and to fulfill a gap between patrol boats and corvettes. According to PTDRU, the OPV-90 will have a length of 90 meters, beam of 13.5 meters, maximum speed of 28 knots, and accommodation for 94 crew, more or less similar to the size of Diponegoro-class corvette. She will be equipped with Oto Melara 76mm Super Rapid Gun, 35mm Rheinmetall Millennium Gun, 8 MBDA MM40 Exocet, and has a facility of flight deck and hangar. However, we must not jump to conclusion. As for right now, the information we have is based only from DRU animation video. In the end, she probably won't be armed that heavily. But I'm excited to see the result though. OPVs in general are less complicated and less demanding to build than combatant ships. So starting an indigenous vessel for this requirement is a very good idea in my opinion. I hope that they can install homegrown system on her as well. From early to mid-August, joint exercise Garuda Shield between the Indonesian Army and US Army commenced. Garuda Shield 15, the US Army Pacific sponsored exercise and hosted by the Indonesian Army, is the largest iteration of the exercise since it began 15 years ago, backed by the theme Together We Can. This exercise involved 2,246 Indonesian Army soldiers and 2,282 US Army soldiers. It took place in 3 different training grounds, Batu Raja in South Sumatra, Amborawang in East Borneo, and Makalisung in North Sulawesi. The purpose of this joint exercise is to enhance and enrich the jungle warfare ability of both the US Army and the Indonesian Army, whilst the training materials consist of staff exercise, field training exercise, live fire exercise, medical exercise, and aviation. There are several points that can be observed from this exercise. For both armies, it's their first time to conduct an exercise in 3 different Indonesian islands and 2 different time zones simultaneously. Second, the location themselves are considered strategic areas. As we know, South Sumatra, East Borneo, and North Sulawesi are the choke points of the Indonesian Sea Lane of Communication or ALCI that connects into the South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean. And lastly, it's the first time that 2 US Army divisions are involved in Garuda Shield. The 25th Infantry Division based in Hawaii and the 82nd Airborne Division from Fort Bragg. The US and Indonesian paratroopers even trained in North Carolina weeks before they jumped together for the exercise, flying from North Carolina to Guam before jumping out of US C-17 aircraft into the Batu Raja drop zone, starting one of the exercise key events. To carry out an exercise of this scale in 3 different locations is not an easy one. It requires a high level of coordination and command in logistics, personnel, weapon system, and more. Furthermore, training and adapting to the geography in which future conflict might happen is a valuable experience. I believe this exercise gives the Indonesian Army and the US Army important lessons on how to carry out similar exercise or operation in the future. I hope we can see bigger troop involvement and more complex training for the next exercise. It wasn't only Indonesia and the US who held a large-scale exercise last month. Up north, about 13,000 Russian and Chinese troops have taken part in the Cebu Interaction 2021 exercise, making the first time that such joint strategic military drills are held in China. The 5-day-long maneuver began on 9 August at the King Tongxia Combat Training Base in the Ningxia-Hui Autonomous Region in north-central China. Taking part in the maneuver were mainly troops from the PLS Western Theater Command and Russia's Eastern Military District. According to the Chinese Ministry of National Defense, this exercise was aimed at verifying and improving the troops' capabilities of joint reconnaissance, search and early warning, electronic information attack, and joint strike and elimination. Furthermore, the broader goals of the exercise were to consolidate and develop the Sino-Russian Comprehensive Strategic Partnership of Coordination in the New Era, deepen the practical cooperation and traditional friendship between the two militaries, and further demonstrate the two sides' resolve and capability to fight against terrorist forces and jointly safeguard regional peace and security. A week before the exercise, the Russian Ministry of Defense released a footage that shows Russian troops under guidance of PLA instructors training on Chinese 8x8 vehicles, including the ZTL-11 fire support vehicle and ZBL-9 infantry fighting vehicles. The learning process took place in several stages, including the theoretical training, classes on electronic simulators, as well as practical driving and shooting, adding that the training is being carried out both individually and as part of units. The Russian MOD said in a statement that the move marks the first time that Russian servicemen have mastered modern model of military equipment and weapons of the PLA. From land exercise, let's move to naval exercise. During exercise Taming Sari 2021, the Royal Malaysian Navy or RMN successfully conducts a complex anti-ship missiles firings. The firing exercise was carried out by the RMN Scorpion-class submarine KD Tun Abdul Razak and two RMN ships KD Lekyu and KD Lekir, firing a sub-launch Exocet SM-39 and surface-launch Exocet MM-40 anti-ship missile. The launch of the missile was conducted through close coordination from all assets involved. During a press conference, Ismail Sabri, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, said that the success of firing all these missiles on targets clearly proved the professionalism, capability, and readiness of the RMN in handling the country's defense assets. Exercise Taming Sari is a maritime warfare exercise that tests aspects of planning and implementation by the RMN. The 6-day exercise is the largest military exercise involving 1,080 RMN members, Royal Malaysian Air Force, and the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency. The exercise involved 9 ships, 5 fast combat boats, 1 submarine, 2 RMN Superlynx, 4 Royal Malaysian Air Force aircraft, and 2 Coast Guard assets. To end today's video, I have news from South Korea. The Republic of Korea Navy has commissioned their first locally developed diesel-electric attack submarine capable of deploying submarine-launched ballistic missile. The Dosan Ang Chang Ho submarine was commissioned in ceremony held on 13 August at Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering Facility in Geoje Island. According to the Navy statement, the new submarine is expected to be operationally deployed from August 2022 after undergoing a series of operational performance and capability evaluation. Dosan Ang Chang Ho is the first of 9 KSS-3 class submarines planned for the Navy, with a length of 83.5 meters, beam of 9.6 meters, and displacement of 3,705 tons. She is equipped with an active and passive sonar suite from LIG Next One, as well as the Hanwha System Naval Shield Integrated Combat Management System. She also features Safran Attack Periscope and Optronic Mast, and Indra Pegaso Radar Electronic Support Measurement System. This class of submarine is armed with 6 torpedo tubes and 6 VLS tubes capable of carrying cruise and ballistic missiles. I have a question for you. If South Korea offers this submarine, will you take it? There you have it, some noticeable event in August 2021. New vessel for the Indonesian Navy, joint exercise in Indonesia and China, maritime exercise in Malaysia, and the commissioning ceremony of South Korea's biggest submarine. With all that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. If you like this video, please hit the like. If you didn't, a dislike. Subscribe for more, and I will see you next time.